Hello, 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 and happy 2025 to you all. Y'all know what day it is and what time it is, and you know what that means. It is time for Boss Talk with Sean Larray. Well, hello, and again, Happy New Year. How are y'all doing? Go ahead and tell me in the chat where you are tuning in from. We are back over here in Cali. We did not burn completely up over here, but I just want to take a moment and send some love out to the survivors of the wildfires that we had out here. It was really touch and go for a while, y'all. And I just want to send some love to those in the Palisades and in the Eaton fire, in Altadena, all the businesses that were just taken out, the families who lost their homes, generations of businesses were just leveled to the ground. And it just is heartbreaking. I was very fortunate to be several miles away from several different fires. And so I'm happy to say that we managed to come out unscathed, but not emotionally and not without just really having some heavy times in the whole state of California. So please keep your prayers going for us. We have lots of resources that are out there for people who need them. And I'd like to say that the William Joseph Brinkley Center for Cultural Affirmation is providing complimentary, no-cost therapy for people who survived the fires, who were in some way impacted by the wildfires. And so you can reach out to us at wjbcenter.com if you want to partake of those free services. So on a more joyous note, we are so happy to be back with you all. It was a long hiatus, a very much needed one, but we are excited to be back in front of you tonight. And so I'm really excited about 2025. We made it in here, y'all. And so that's a blessing in and of itself. And we're going to have some fun this year, as always. I do want to take a moment and just acknowledge the loss of a great woman in my life. Yvonne Brown passed away, left this life at 80 plus years old. And she left a legacy of loving kindness to friends and family, and everyone that she met, in fact, became family. And I have known her family for as long as I have lived in California. And so I just want to shout out to the Brown girls, to Papa Brown, to Brent and all the other grandchildren. Yvonne Brown was a beautiful woman with a great big old heart, a fantastic sense of style and fashion. She was a curvaceous beauty until she left this earth, and we will truly miss this great woman of the community. So love you, Ma Brown, and all the Brown girls love y'all, and we are here praying for you all as you navigate losing the matriarch of your family. So want to definitely take a moment and do that. So I am excited always in February. Not only is it my birthday, but it is also Love Month. And so during this month, we want to celebrate Black love. And so all love is amazing, but there's just a particular little something about Black love. And we're going to be celebrating that. I am, as you all know, 6.5 maybe months in to a new marriage that is amazing and going really well. And so I'm going to tell y'all. Y'all know that one of the things I love the most about doing this show is bringing on people from my past and telling y'all how I met people, because I have some funny stories about how I meet people all the time. So my guest tonight is on with her husband, and I have known her longer than they have been married. When we knew one another, we were both single chicks in the world. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about her, and then you'll get to meet her and her husband, and they can tell us a little bit about him. So let me bring on and introduce the hubby. Let's see. Well, first of all, let me bring out and introduce the queen herself. 1 second. I got to find her info here. What did I do with it? Good Lord. What in the world, Sean Lorraine? Well, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to talk about her. Oh, she's in there. Hi there. Welcome, Belinda Trotter James and Darren James.
Hey,
What's going on?
How are y'all?
we're doing great.
Fantastic.
So tell the Boss Talkers what part of the country you're in.
We're on the East Coast, the right coast. We're from New York.
In New
New
York,
York.
New York.
New York.
Yeah.
I love it. You'll be able to hear if you listen to them talk long enough. I love that accent.
I don't have an accent.
And by the way,
you said what
I'm from Brooklyn and she's from Manhattan. Or Harlem.
I'm from Harlem.
Harlem, right. She's from
Harlem. Oh, yes. And you know, that's where I lived the last time I was in town.
Oh.
The last time I was living first, I think, Belinda, was I in was I in I think I've been all over the place from the time that I lived in New York. I started out in Brooklyn. Well, no, I started out in the Village because I went to school at NYU, and then I moved over to Brooklyn for a few minutes, then back over Upper West Side, further up to the West Side, and then over a little bit to Harlem. And so I lived in Harlem. The last several places I lived were in Harlem.
Okay.
17 years.
Wow.
Yes. So
what part of New York did you like the most?
ooh, see there, now you're gonna start some mess. Okay.
Right.
Absolutely Harlem.
Oh,
100%
really?
Harlem. I did. I loved Harlem. So I grew up in Toledo, Ohio. So I had never lived in places where everybody looked like me.
Yeah. That's a bit of a culture shock.
And
Yes,
so,
would agree.
yes, so that was really, really exciting for me to be around my folks and to see. And you know what else I loved is the energy. Just the energy of New York is always exciting. It's always fun and it's upbeat. And so I loved that. And of
Right.
course, every day was a different experience.
Yeah, definitely.
I love that too. So y'all out there watching and tuned in tonight, who's out there? Come on, talk to me. Don't be shy. Holla at your girl. Tell me who's in the audience tonight and where you from and have you been here? Do we have any first time boss talkers out there? So I want to tell you about Miss Belinda. So Belinda, when I met Belinda, it was a very chance meeting, and Belinda didn't even know this until the other day when we chatted on the phone. But Belinda has done just about any and everything in entertainment. So why don't you tell the Boss Talkers a little bit about your background pre Mr. James?
Well, I was a starving artist. I wanted to be a model. So I've done everything wrong in trying to get into the modeling industry. That's why I am the expert for those trying to get into the industry on what not to do and what photographers not to be with. And so, I did a couple of soap operas. I did One Life to Live for a year. I did a couple of commercials. I was in Spike Lee's movie. And, it just, and then temping. And it just wasn't working out. So I figured if nobody's going to hire me to be a model or whatever, I'm going to produce my own fashion shows. And that's what I did. I did my partner was Benja K. Little, and she's an actress now on Broadway, but she is a full figured girl. And she said, well, Belinda, if you want to do fashion shows, let's do a full figured competition. And I was like, what? Full figures want to be on stage? All right, let's do it. So we did the Miss Big Beautiful Doll competition, and that's how I met Miss Sean Lorraine.
Absolutely. And Belinda didn't know this, but I also, well, most of you boss talkers know that I have a history of beauty pageant crowns that I have garnered over the years. And at that time, I had, previous to meeting Belinda, I had won the coveted title of Miss Empire State.
Oh,
Got a chance to
wow.
go to Europe as Ophelia DeVore's
Ophelia
queen.
Devora.
Went with her. She was my agent and manager at the time. I went with her to the Cannes Film Festival for 2 weeks and then to Paris for 2 weeks. And then I was involved in a car accident, an auto accident with a taxi, and I was injured really badly. And I actually ended up gaining 100 pounds in a year and a half because I was in the hospital for 30 days. After that, in a wheelchair, then on crutches, and then a cane, and then just all the things. And along with not moving and probably with the depression of not moving and the depression of having been this beauty queen and now just being sitting still pretty much, I gained weight. And in the midst of that, I ran into a photographer that had been my photographer when I was in the pageant. And we talked and he said, what happened? And I told him, and he said, you need to call these women. And he gave me the number. I don't know if he gave me your number or Deborah's number.
Hmm.
I feel like it was Deborah.
It probably was Deborah.
Yeah. And so I called her. You guys had closed the auditions.
Hmm.
But when I told her the story of how I, came to be a full figure girl, she actually allowed me to audition for you guys. You guys
Oh.
audition. And so
Mhm.
did that, got accepted into the pageant, and won the doggone thing, didn't I?
Yes.
Good for you.
Look at God.
Good for
Look at
you.
God.
Won't he
So
do it?
you thought that car accident was a setback. It probably was a setup. God probably was trying to speak to you and you wasn't listening. So he had to sit your behind still so you can hear.
Absolutely.
And
For
now
sure.
you're the full figured and you went through our competition. It was 6 weeks workshop. So we did makeup, we did hair, we did the appropriate undergarments because the first time we did the pageant and the curtains open, I'm gonna tell you, people was ready to laugh because they never saw a full figured model on stage. And this is back
Mhm.
in the late 80s when I first started it. I think
That's right.
I believe we're the first to start that full figured, modeling pageant thing. So the curtains opened and everybody was just amazed. You guys did an opening dance act and they were on their feet giving you guys a standing ovation. So Sean, you are part of the full figured history of models, full figured models being
Absolutely.
on stage.
And I went on to continue to model and do full figure work. I was a fit model for some years and did some stage work. And then, and I had been doing it prior to. So it was a beautiful thing to be able to continue in what I loved, being on stage
Hmm.
and being able to do that um, as 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 a means of opening doors, and not only that, just creating a positive image for women who were full figure and who maybe thought that life was over and that they
Right.
wouldn't be recognized and that there was nothing left for them. And so it was really an honor to do that.
Hmm.
Definitely an honor.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yes. Well, Mr. Seals says, oh, beautiful. Hello, hubby. That my husband.
Oh, hi.
All right. All righty.
Thank you, honey. So Belinda and we did some other work together, of course, because you continue to produce shows. And we did that. And then just as time would move on and all of that, we lost contact. I think maybe the last several years that I was in New York, and I did move over to New Jersey for some time. I was
Okay.
in New Jersey for about 5 years, and then I came back, and like 2 years later, I dashed out and came here. So we lost contact, and then I think we chatted at one point. You found me and you put me on a show. You were producing a radio show, and I was a guest on that. That
Mhm.
was several years ago. And
Mhm.
then we lost contact again. And then just the other day, I saw your, well, a couple of weeks ago now, I saw this is my full figured, beautiful wife. Yes, darling.
Mhm.
Well, I then saw your Instagram story and
Mhm.
reached out and hit you up there. And here we are. And we had chatted for about an hour that day. And it seemed like
Yes.
we never lost contact.
Never lost contact.
I
Yeah.
love
And
that.
I was hoping that you could show some photos too, because I was cleaning out my attic and found the photos just in the nick of time. And I was like, yeah, I could have found them last year, last month. But because I'm talking to you today, my angel said, let me show you these pictures. And there you are on the top. I wish they could see you as your full figured self with the
Let
crown
me
and everything.
see.
It was fun. Yes.
Let me see if I can find them, if I can pull them up here,
Uh-huh.
because I did download them onto my phone. So they should be in my cloud. So I'll
Okay.
keep looking for that while we chat it up.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
So now, like I said, when we met back then many years ago, um, you were a single woman, and I was too. And so then, as we chatted the other day, you told me that you had gotten married. So why don't you tell us the story about meeting your husband?
So, I'm this entrepreneur, this, go getter. I knew everybody, everybody knew me. Um, I was the publisher, one of the editor in chiefs for Word Up Publishing. And so it was just nonstop going to different events and stuff. And I was like talking to God, where is my husband?
I know
I
that
would come home
conversation.
from these events and I'm sitting in my living room, ain't nobody in there. I was like, no, no, no. I gotta have some noise in here. I gotta have the husband first, and that's just me. Gotta have the husband first, then let the kids. We need some, noise in here. Cause I
That's
spent
right.
my 20s doing me, chasing my career and just doing different things because you have to do that. It's the only time in your life where you're really not responsible for other people, meaning your children.
That's
So
right.
that's why I was every place, did everything. But now we're coming up on our, on that 30 mark. And I'm like, wait, 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 wait. My
Okay.
biological clock is ticking. Oh my God. I gotta hurry up. God, where is my husband? So
Where at, yo, Lord? Where at?
I was interviewing New Kids on the Block, and I said, and this guy had gave me on the train. He gave me a flyer for a transit party, and if you live in New York City, you know that the transit parties are infamous for being a fabulous,
Yes.
and the
Yes.
DJ is good and everything. So he gave the flyer to me, and I said, oh, I'm going to be in that area. So, long story short, I go to the party. I see Darren, and like I'm talking to you all right now, something said, what about him? And I said, oh,
I love it.
yes,
I love it.
he asked me to dance, and it was like Cinderella. Somebody called him. He was at a birthday party. Somebody called him away, and I'm just telling my side of it. He had
We're
another
going to get
side.
his side, believe me.
Yeah. So someone called him away, and I said, oh, and I did ask for a hug that day. I asked God for a hug, and when we were dancing, He gave me a hug. I had this tingly sensation go all through my body, and the voice came back again
Oh,
and said, "There is your hug." So when I left, he left with his friends, and then I was there by myself because being, in the limelight, I didn't want nobody to know who I was. I didn't want them to say, "Oh, there's Belinda. Let me try to get close to her because she is, this
right.
big editor or whatever." So I wanted to go someplace where no one knew me. So I was there by myself. So I'm going in the cab. I'm crying in the cab. Where's God? I thought I was going to see my husband. I thought you was going to let me meet.
I love it. I love it.
2 weeks later, Sean, 2 weeks later, I see him at a party because now I'm back in editor mode. So I'm at this event. I'm interviewing, I think, Dana Dane.
Let me tell the story now from my perspective.
Wait,
Yes.
wait, wait. Let me just say this. So yeah. So and then I was in mode now. So now I saw him. I was like, oh my God, that's the guy. Good. Take it away.
All right, so like she says, and good evening, audience. Um, so I go to this party. I'm a transit worker. A friend of mine is doing a birthday thing there. So I see this young lady come walking in. I see her go up the steps to the dance floor, and I just said, wow, okay. So I hear some music playing. I go up. You know, when you hear your song, you want to go up and look for it,
Yeah, that's
dance.
my jam.
And that's my jam, right? So I see this young lady up here that I had saw come in and go upstairs. So I asked her to dance, and we danced. And just like she said, I don't know what it was, but it was something special.
I love it.
My friend called me away, and we left. I went back downstairs, and we had to go. We left. 2 weeks later, I'm going to another event for another friend of mine. And as we're driving to the event, I said to him, I said, his name was Sam. I said, yo, Sam, a couple of weeks ago, I was at a birthday party and I met this young lady. And Sam, I'm telling you, man, I don't know what it was, but it was something special, man. It was something special. And the sad part is, Sam, I never got her name. I never got her number. And I don't ever think I'm going to see her again.
Wow.
So we pull up to this event. He parks the car. As soon as we walk in the door together, I look across the dance floor and I see her. And I'm bumping him. I'm nudging him, going, yo, Sam, that's her. That's her. And he says, so what you going to do, D? I said, yo, man, I'm not playing myself. That girl probably don't even remember me. He said, boy, you better go up there and say something to that girl.
Okay.
So I went over there. I said, hey, how you doing? You remember me? And she went, oh my God.
Oh
Hi.
no!
Oh, wow.
No,
Oh,
I didn't. No, I didn't. I
okay.
said I did that. I did all of that.
Yeah, you probably did.
No, he stuttered and said, Do you?" And I said, "Yes, I remember you."
Hmm.
So I
And so the
love
rest,
that.
and so, see, she was doing an interview during that time. So I'm walking off again, and I had just said something to her like, um, "Oh, I hope I get a dance with you again this time." And I walked away.
Okay. So now, Belinda, do you go along with this part?
Yes.
Okay, okay. No, what's really funny, before I lost my producer in my ear, she said, "They remind me of you and William." So clearly there are two sides to every story. Okay, okay. So each of you were cool in your own mind. I love
Right.
it. All right.
So the person that was giving this party here, um, that had invited both of us, knew both of us. So I go over to him. He's at the bar, and I'm telling him, I said, "Yo, man, I met this girl, da da da. She's here now and everything." And he said, "Where, D?" And I said, "Her over there." He says, "Oh, that's Belinda Trotter. She works with the magazine, D. She's so on and so forth, this and this and that." I said, "Oh, okay, cool." Didn't mean that much to me. I just was attracted to her. Wasn't about what she did or anything else like that.
Hmm. Hmm.
Now, the funny thing is, while I'm there at the bar, she's leaving now. And
Uh-oh.
I'm like, "Oh, man." I still never got her name, never got her number. And I'm really in panic mode
Uh-oh.
because she goes, "Hey, hi. Okay, nice seeing you." She never danced with me or nothing. She was there to take care of her business and she was leaving. I'm in panic mode. But all of a sudden, she comes back and she gives me her number and there's no name on it. I still don't know her name. And so she gives me this paper. I open it. I said, "There's no name on this." She says, "Just call me." And that was that. That was that.
I love it. I love it. Well, first of all, William said, "I was about to ask who's the handsome gentleman." And then he said, "You two are made for one another, kindred spirits." Absolutely. And
as it turns out.
as it turns out, right. But isn't it amazing how God will set things up like that?
Right. Because if I wasn't at the train right there where the conductor was for him to give me that invitation, and I just happened to be in the area on that day.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so you got the number, you got them digits, Darren. What happened after that?
Well, I mean, of course, I didn't call right away, right? You don't think
Yeah,
I
you
was going
didn't
to
blow your
call as
top
soon as
like
I got home? I waited a few days. But
okay.
here's what happened. I still don't know her name.
Why you ain't ask your friend? You
Oh
asked
no, he did. He
me.
did. He did. I
Yeah.
did right. He did tell me who her
Yeah.
name was. But at any rate, when I call her number up, see, this had never happened to me before. I call the number up and it goes like this. "Hello, you have reached BB2 Productions."
Remember Sean? BB2.
And
I
I
remember
go, I go, "Oh wow. She gave me an office number. She didn't even give me her personal number.
that.
What kind of crap is that? Please leave your name and a brief message." And I went, "Ba-doom." I'm like, what kind of crap is this? So I wait another couple of days later, and I call again. I get the same message. I go, "This is whack, man. This is whack, you know." So by the third time I called, she literally answered the phone. This is about a week or so later, though, you know. And I just, so I tell her the story. And so we arranged to go on a date, and um, from that first date on, it was just on. It was just, Like I said, I didn't necessarily know it then, um, but I definitely realized it at some point from that first date that this was going to be something special. And um, she even tells a story about through one part of our early conversations when we're getting to know you,
Mm-hmm.
when something was mentioned or I mentioned, I don't think she asked, but I said something like, I have no intentions of ever getting married.
No, we was on the train and I was looking through an Essence magazine and they had black brides and grooms and they were showing them in, African attire,
Uh-huh.
different types of things you would wear a groom and a bride would wear to a wedding. And I said, "Oh my God, look at this." And then he said what he said. And I said, "Okay, God, next. Next. He'll just be a placeholder. I'm not worried about it, God. It's all right." I was like, he
So
didn't
you
get
were
married.
confident that
I
God
wouldn't get
would let it
married.
do what it do.
Yeah, I wouldn't get married. So he's not getting married. Next.
That is hilarious. William says, "This is great, hilarious, and comical." Okay, so when did you decide or when did you know that, you were wrong, Mr. Darren?
Well, as the story goes, things progressed rather quickly. As you said, she was a single young lady, right? So she was living in her place. I was living in my place. And by the way, I had two kids already previously. So I came up a little different than what she was used to.
Uh-oh, you
Um,
guys turned your camera somewhere.
No, it's been no.
we never touched
We
anything.
never
You
touched
didn't touch it?
anything.
What in the world? You know what? That ain't right. That is so crazy.
Is that better?
Wait,
Oh,
let me see
oh,
what
I know
that.
what. There we go.
Okay.
There we go.
There we go. And move yourselves a
But
little
better
bit.
move it up.
We want
Yeah.
to see. There you go. There those beautiful folks are.
But so what happened is as we were dating and things, um I would come and go and she would always talk about that like on Sundays, she would talking about going to church. So
Mhm.
I used to say to her, one day I'm going to go to church with you. One day I'm going to go to church with you. And
Uh-huh.
so, and then through us dating and things like that, she would hint and say, or one day I'm going to move in here with you, or we're going to be together, right? And she would go, well, don't worry about it. I'm going to clear this dresser out for you for your clothes, so on and so forth. So things generated very quickly that we met in January. By May or June, we were living together now.
Okay. So January. Okay, so 5 months, five,
Five,
six
six
months.
months, five,
Okay.
6 months, we had
Okay.
moved in,
Okay.
because the actuality was we met in January of 91. By November of 92, we were married.
Ah,
We were
wow.
married.
So let
So
me see. January of 91, and you married
in
November
November of
of
92,
92. So okay, we went around, we had it. Okay. Okay. So less than 2 years.
less than 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Mm-hmm.
she says that was her plan because she said that she was going to cut me off after 2 years. I never knew that. And I don't think it was true because I know how I put my Mac down. You know what I mean? So
My clock is ticking. All the guys I had dated before that,
Oh, that's
four
hilarious.
years. 4 years you wasted. And now you don't know if we're gonna get married or engaged or get out of here. So the next one, I'm gonna do something totally different. I'm gonna give him my number. I'm gonna tell him, yeah, you can move in with me. He got 2 years. And then I'm sorry, it's done. Remember, I wanted to have a husband first and then the
The
kids.
children. All right. Well, so you whether you believed it or not, you made it happen.
yeah, I made it happen.
Okay.
You want to tell him? You want to hear how he proposed?
Oh, please, yes.
Well, so now we're living together. We're planning our first trip together. So I say, since I was a kid, I always wanted to go to
Aruba.
Aruba.
Okay.
So we're planning our first trip together to Aruba. And she goes, "Oh, okay, that's fine." And then I say, "And while we at it, we might as well kill two birds with one stone. We might as well get married." And
Okay, stop. Stop. Okay. He's in the bathroom brushing his teeth. I'm in the living room sitting down. I don't know what I was on the couch. And he says that to me.
Oh,
Oh, we
that's
might as well
hilarious.
make that our honeymoon. Now, this is my thought process in 1 minute. Oh my God, did he ask me to marry him? Oh my God, what are you going to do? What about your dress? You're supposed to have a wedding dress. You're not going to have a wedding dress. What? We just going to elope? What the hell? Well, Belinda, you better hurry up and say yes before he changes his mind. You can always have a wedding. You can always have a party later. Now I come back to the earth and I said, okay.
I love that. And thank you for sharing that little bit of conversation that you had with yourself, because we all do that, right? We have like, okay, wait. What just happened? Okay, let me. So I love that. So you said, yeah, let me get in where I fit in right quick.
there you go.
I love it. So did you go to the Justice of Peace? Did you actually get married over there? How did that go?
Well, yeah, we went to the Justice of the Peace. Never
Okay.
told anybody. Never
In
told
New York.
anybody.
Okay.
We never told anybody except one of my closest friends who stood in as a witness,
Yeah, because you
and
had a
her
whole.
closest friend were the only two that knew. Even my brother, my family, we never said anything to anybody.
Okay.
So we got married the day before Thanksgiving,
Okay.
right? And what the plan was um our families were getting together for the first time on Thanksgiving at my parents' house.
Okay.
So we got married Wednesday, the 25th of November. Thanksgiving was the next day, Thursday, when all our families are getting together. Her mother, her sister, and all these people coming down, her nieces, all them coming down to my parents' house for this big Thanksgiving dinner. I bought 5 bottles of champagne. We're downstairs, we're down at my parents' house in Brooklyn. And I say, "Oh, by the way, this will be a bit of a celebration." "Well, why is that?" We got married yesterday. And people went,
What?
I never met none of his family. He's got like 10 siblings, all these other people I never met. And my sister-in-law said to me years later, she said, you didn't even know what you was marrying into. What if we were crazy?
right,
Well, at that point, you were in love. So
we
it
were
didn't really
meeting,
matter.
each other's family for the first time, actually.
Yep.
Oh
That
my
day
goodness.
there. We had already got married though.
Well, what did they say? Did anybody like get upset, or were they just like, well, here we go?
Yeah, my mother said, "You gypped me out of a wedding dress."
Yeah,
See? See?
yeah, yeah. I never
That
lived
was
that
it.
down. I
That
loved
was
my
it.
first marriage, and I never lived it down. They were like, "How could you do that?" We did, but it worked out fine.
Wasn't about them. Yeah, it wasn't about them.
Exactly, and they all lived through it, right?
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
Yes.
It's 32
Well,
years later, 33 years later, actually.
Darren, I don't know if Belinda told you, but I was widowed, and so I eloped the first time. I was married to a man named William, and now I'm married to another man named William. This
Get
guy
out
right
of
here.
here. Wow.
He says this should be on TV. The story is hilarious and beautiful at the same time. Absolutely, it is. It absolutely is. Well, so now, okay, that was what year was that?
1992.
Wow. 1992.
Right.
And
November
here we
25th,
are, y'all,
1992.
in 2025.
Right. And we're having the time of our life.
I love all of
If
it.
anybody ever asks me, I'm still on my honeymoon. I can only
Now,
speak for
well,
myself.
I
I
love
can only
that
speak for
because
myself.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I said I can only speak for myself. I said I'm still on my honeymoon. That's my reaction. You
That's your
know.
idea. Okay.
Yeah.
And Belinda, are you on your honeymoon still? You on the honeymoon with him?
Yeah, I hear a lot of guys. I don't really hear the women say that once you get married, everything changes. They become different, you're different,
Mhm.
and it just doesn't work out. And we haven't gone through that. It
No,
it just feels like the first year. I
I love that. Well, as a newlywed, I'm excited to hear you say that because last year we had a show and it was entitled Make like the honeymoon is the journey, not the destination. And so we are committed to living the honeymoon every day, over and over and over again. I love that. I love that. So it's been, what is that, 32 years, you say?
32 years. This is the 33rd year now. Yes.
33rd year. I love that. And you have children, grown folks now, I guess.
Two. Yes.
yeah. They're
Okay.
20,
Two and 27. They'll be 23 and 28.
23 and 20.
This April and July.
Right.
Okay. Okay. And you guys are now empty nesters.
No, my daughter is still here.
Okay. Soon to be
She
empty
just
nesters
she
now.
just graduated from fashion.
From
Oh,
FIT.
From FIT. She just graduated from
okay.
FIT. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that, of course,
And my
following in all your
son
footsteps.
just left the nest.
Oh, he did. Okay.
He's
He's in
27.
he's in Houston now.
He's in Houston. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And what is your daughter's plans as a new fashionista coming out of
She,
FIT?
yeah, she wants to get into film, marketing, and advertising. So she's looking for a job in those areas now.
Well,
I'm just
she's
mad at FIT. They let these kids go out here with no contacts, no leads, no nothing. So
they
she's out
do.
here swimming with a life raft.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it would seem that they would have some kind of apprenticeship program or something along those lines because that's
Something.
a field that is difficult to break into on your own,
Right.
you
And
know.
maybe it's just those that want to get into fashion design. Maybe those are the ones that get the contacts.
But she's got you and her dad, so I know that she'll find some connect somewhere with, and
Right.
especially with your background in fashion, Belinda.
Right.
Yes, yes. So you're almost empty nesters because
Yes.
whenever
Yes.
she gets herself organized as a new graduate, I'm sure she'll be ready to move on. So tell me, what would you say is the key? And I want to hear this from each of you. What is the key that you can say that has kept you guys feeling like you're on the honeymoon after 32 years? What tidbit can you give to our audience?
Well, I feel that I kind of stayed home. I was in and out. I didn't want my kids to say that mommy was chasing her career and she was never there. And in the
Mhm.
entertainment industry, there's always a party, always a record release for something,
Right,
always a
right.
movie, always something. So I never wanted them to say that. So I kind of stayed home and just continued doing assignments from home with publishing my publications, and we'll talk about that later. So I always just make sure I kept my identity as far as having something to do.
Yeah, yeah.
And I also think you got to have your own space. He's my world, but not the whole world, because
Right.
then when he's out, in the world, it's like, oh, where is he? What time is he coming home? Oh, he said, it's like, oh,
Mhm.
girl, please get a hobby or something. So I think
Get a
because
life.
I have a hobby and we have space, we live in a house, so if there's space to move around, you're not up
Mhm.
under each other all the time. I think that's how we made it this far.
I love that. Okay. Darren, what would you say?
Well, I would say it was almost the opposite for me in the beginning. You know, when we were first together and people start knowing who she was,
Mm-hmm.
I would hear jokes from my people like, yo, do we got to call you a trotter? That kind of thing, Um, I think the most important thing for us, I don't say it's luck or, or it's God. And it, well, I'm going to say it's God, but um, know who you are and know who and what you have, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh,
we're both pragmatic, practical, and well grounded, right?
that's that.
And so in that way, we're both equally yoked, right?
Mm-hmm. That.
And the funny thing is that we have never like made a plan to do anything and all that kind of stuff, but we go out every weekend. We call it date night or whatever, but we never said that, oh, we're going to start doing date night. It's just something we naturally did. Everything that we've ever done, it always came natural, was nothing forced. It was not
Mm.
like we wasn't like, like this is some of the tradition.
Friday at 8 o'clock, we have to,
Right,
go
right.
to dinner.
Or it was never one of those situations where, when your woman, your wife, your girlfriend, whatever, boyfriend come to go, we need to talk, See, guys don't want to hear that. Right?
No,
It was
not
it
at
was
all.
never
Not
something
at all.
where, we gotta talk and look, you gotta spend more time and we gotta do more of this. No, everything has been just natural.
Mm-hmm.
So in that sense, so everything that has transpired and everything in the future is just natural, it's
Mm-hmm.
comfortable. And even when I do things by myself, when I go places by myself, I always wish that she was there because this is the person that I share everything with. This is the person that I share all my thoughts with. This is the person that I share all my feelings with. So
Mm.
we naturally gravitate toward each other.
I
But
love that.
let me also tell everybody this also though. I tell people this all the time. Um, I love my wife to death, right? But I don't like her all the time. And she doesn't like me all the time. In other words, we fight and argue enough. I mean, we
Sure.
because you're close to somebody, so
Right.
you know
Right.
the smallest things get on your nerve, right? But it's never anything where somebody's going to bed mad and waking up mad the next day.
Mm-hmm.
If she was to ask me, well, look, how long is this going to go on? I said, I don't know. That's up to you. Because I let go of it last week. So, it's gone. It's gone. So how long is
Right.
it going to go on? That's for you to answer because it's already over with me, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Mm-hmm.
So in that sense, like I said, she's fire and I'm ice, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, I have to be the reverse because otherwise I'd always get the fire and so there's limits to everything, but hey,
I love that.
there's no other place that we're not going anywhere at this point in stage in our life. I
Absolutely
can't
not.
imagine being without it. And that's the thing too, right? It's not trying to figure out what I'm going to do with her, you know? It's understanding and believing that I have no idea or clue what I would do without her.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I
So
love that.
I don't have to do all that figuring then.
I love that. Well, hello, Soror, Rhonda. Rhonda James is here from Houston, where your son is.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah,
And she's a James.
And she's a
and
James.
she's a James, exactly. She
Might be
says, "Good
related.
evening. I love their love story. They have great chemistry.
Oh, thank
Absolutely.
you.
Yeah, y'all
Oh,
might need
thank
Thank you.
to
you.
talk
Thank you.
and see where y'all's DNA might be coming from. She's originally from Ohio. She pledged me.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
very good.
Yes, nice to see you, sis. Thank you.
And I
Ah,
also wanted to say that, when two people meet, they had lives before, they got together. So I know one time he told me his friend said, "Man, you've been out all hanging out all night with us. Your wife is not gonna get mad." And so he came home and said, "Belinda, you're not upset that I was out all night?" I was like, "No." I was like, "You
exactly.
have friends before me. I don't need you up my behind
Absolutely.
all
Absolutely. But that's
all
very
weekend. Go
important.
ahead and hang out with your friends. Go ahead." Because
Yeah.
I'm used to being in the house by myself. I don't know if it's because I was a latchkey kid. So, you came home and now you sitting
Sure.
in the house by yourself. So your mother
Absolutely.
came home. So I'm comfortable in the house by myself because I got things to do. I crochet, I knit, I sew, I create publications. So I got a closet full of clothes that I'm just in my closet, just,
Playing
you
around.
know,
I love
because
it.
I'm a shopper. So, or I'm shopping. So I'm good with me,
Yeah.
So you have to be
Absolutely.
good with you in
And
order
I
to
think
have a
that's a
relationship. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's an important point to make because there are couples who come together and yes, we need one another, but we don't want to be needy in a relationship. And I have so
Right.
many
Right.
folks that,
Right.
as I don't know if you know this, Darren, but I'm a licensed marriage family therapist. And so I see all kinds of clients, individual, of course, too, but I work with couples in marriages and relationships and all of that. And I was talking to one of my young men clients yesterday, and he was telling me about a relationship that he had and got away from in the short time that I wasn't seeing him. He had the whole relationship, it lasted, and it went away. And one of the problems was that the young woman was insecure and constantly needed to be up under him. And she wanted to talk to him all day and all night and call him on the way here. And when he gets back, and he just was overwhelmed. So, ladies, be confident in yourself and have a life. That some of the ladies I talk to have had the same issue. So, gentlemen, this advice goes to you too. Know
Wow.
yourself,
Yes.
love yourself, and be comfortable in your own skin and with yourself. So, hey, Michelle, it's so good to see you. Michelle is one of our Black Women's Network members, past vice president for many, many years. So happy to have you on tonight. She says, I couldn't post on YouTube, had to come to Facebook. Yes, we'll have to make sure that you get your own account on YouTube and you can post there too. But after 7 years of dating, my husband and I married. I told him, now don't you change. He smiled and said, don't you change either. We shared 27 wonderful years together, and I will always cherish the beautiful legacy of my late husband. Absolutely.
Amen.
Absolutely. Thank
Amen.
you for
God bless
sharing
you.
that, Michelle.
Yeah.
She
Thank
also
you.
says, oh my, she sounds like me with my husband when he was alive. I'm like you. I always had a life and love doing me. Absolutely. And still does. Michelle recently retired and now she is exploring all the things that she might not have
Yes.
had time to do before that. Billy Williams says, Sean Lorraine doesn't know, but I purchased a satellite to watch her 24/7.
Good for you.
Yeah, he'll call me and tease me. He'll be like, so, what are you doing? And I'll say nothing. He goes, well, I can see you, so it doesn't matter. And what's funny? Sometimes I stop and I go, is he watching me? Is he?
Right. Right.
He's not. We love being together and we are good when we are apart because we know what we got at home is better than anything else that could possibly be out there. And I think that's an important thing to recognize too, especially these days. I hear so many horror stories in dating and in my work, and I work with single women who have had some horror stories. So when you find that person, you have to cherish that person and know that you've done and made that God has led you to the right thing. And I love that you guys allowed God to be at the forefront of that relationship, and we have done the same. And I think that is key for people to understand as well.
Mhm.
Well, y'all, We are getting close to the end of our time here together. So you've given us, I'm going to take those last tidbits that you gave to the Boss Talkers about what your secret to being together for 32 years, and let that be the nugget that you all leave the Boss Talkers with. Is there any one little real quick, and I do mean real quick, little thing that you want to say before you leave here tonight?
Every woman should have their own room, their woman cave.
Do you have a man cave, Darren?
Yes and no. I
Yes or
really
no?
don't. I really don't. See, I'm the opposite from her. I come from a family of 10 kids. I had 7 brothers and 3 sisters. So I'm used to being around, you know.
Uh-huh.
I'm more comfortable being around people, being around her. She's more comfortable a lot of times on her own, you know.
Yeah.
So
Well, Michelle loves that idea too. Listen, I have a friend in Texas, and when we were visiting, she said, "Come on over, come over, come over." And her sister is my best friend's. Her sister is my best friend's mom. So we got in the car and we went over to see what she was talking about, and she had created the most amazing she shed. And on the door, it said she shed.
She
And when
should.
we went in there, it was just, oh, it was so beautiful. It had lots of mirrors and purses hanging on the wall and just all the things
Yes.
that I thought, this is amazing. So sometimes it is good to have that. I have a space now that is our guest room, but it has a nice little desk in there and some girly little
Yes.
things that I can go in there and
Right.
out and have too. So I think it's good that you love to come together and you're okay when you're apart. You love being together and you're okay when you're apart. So, Boss Talkers, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Welcome back, and we are so happy to see you. Now, my guests have ways that you can find them. So, I'm going to put how you can learn more about Belinda's publications and all that good stuff. And let's put that up for y'all right now.
Yeah, one of the publications is Today's Ebony Woman. We have women that are doing just extraordinary things. And so we put them in there and let them tell their story. And I
Oh,
also
wow.
have a magazine, Code 123 Playground, and that's for school age kids because they're doing so many things that we haven't even thought of. They're entrepreneurs, they're CEOs. Wait, you're 10 years old. What you mean you're a CEO, you know?
I love that.
So
Yeah,
I want other kids to see what other kids around the world are doing, and they should start just thinking about it, whether it's ice skating or playing tennis, like the Williams sisters. And
right.
so we've gotten away from that because they're saying that our kids do not read, and they do read,
Hey,
but they want
absolutely.
to read something interesting. So
That's
I
right.
have those magazines and others. So
Well,
you can
thank
find
you.
all of that at MediaQueenPublishing.com.
I love it. And I want to be in the magazine.
Yes, of course, of course.
Well, thank you for sharing all those good things. I love what you're doing with kids. That is so important. That is so good for them to
thank you
see
for having us.
what's
Yes,
possible. Yes. And
yes.
thank you all for being so transparent and so doggone cute. I love it. I love it when people of a certain age can still be fabulous. I do. I love that.
Oh, thank you.
So, y'all keep this. You can go back here and get all this information any old time. And we want to see you back here next week at the same back channel, same time. And this has been Chandler Ray. This is how you reach me. If you need coaching, find me at livinglovecoaching.com. If you need therapy, holler at your girl at livinghealing.com. Go to my Instagram, go to my Facebook, and check it out. Hey, y'all. Dance with y'all.
Why we can't hear the music, Sean?
Oh, one of a kind.
You're in the show. Everyone can see and hear you. Oops.
I love it.